fight. What, you want to hear another one? It's a school night. Okay, just this once. Such a pushover. What should we hear a story about? How about a fairy tale for our times? A field of dreams, fenced by white picket. The story of the young woman and man we all hope to someday be. Well, too bad that's what you're getting. Once upon a time, there was a young woman pretty as a day in June. A young man stood by her side, smart as a whip and handsome as a polo horse. They met in high school and fell in love on a merry day in May. Before long, the young man dropped to his knees, pulled a diamond from his pocket, and asked for her hand in marriage.
Excuse us, Mrs. Storyteller?
Moving right along, with the blessings of their compatible family.
Mrs. Storyteller?
Excuse me a moment. Yes, what is it?
We didn't exactly meet in high school.
Yes, you did. It says so right here.
We met on Tinder.
We dated on and off for 5 years while she experimented with foreigners.
Well, for our purposes, let's say you met in high school. So, with the blessings of their highly compatible families, they were to be bride and groom.
Wait a minute, you were the one who kept breaking it off.
What?
Yeah, and then you'd want me back the minute I had a new boyfriend.
Well, you certainly didn't waste any time running the arms of the nearest guy with an accent.
Let's not argue in front of the impressionable youngsters. So, as I was saying, the bride soon set in on the wedding preparation.
I didn't know you were a racist.
I'm not. I was fine with the fact that you've been with black men.
You're assuming that racism automatically refers to African Americans? Isn't that a form of racism itself?
Excuse me, ma'am, sir, could you shut your mouth so I can return to my story? Thank you.
By all means, don't let anything silly like our issues get in your way.
Look, will you just play along? These children will have ample opportunity to be disillusioned later. As I was saying, they were to be married in a beautiful church.
Drive-through chapel in Vegas.
Followed by an elegant reception at an old inn in Vermont.
Honeymoon suite at the Best Western.
The bride put Martha Stewart to shame as she had the evening designed to the last detail.
Ha! That really sounds like you.
From the linen napkins to the centerpieces of purple friezia and Italian hibiscus.
I think she was invited to someone else's wedding.
Why is she assuming the bride always has the taste? Doesn't anyone stop and think that the groom might want to participate? I worked my ass through law school as a floral designer, so I know purple frieze is all wrong for a centerpiece, except maybe as an accent flower.
You were a floral designer?
You need to base your arrangements on more substantial bloom, like a lily or an orchid.
Brad, is there something you want to tell me?
Actually, there's something I want to tell these youngsters so they can get to bed at a decent hour. The story.
No, humpy huppa.
So, they had a flawless reception at a turn of the century inn in Vermont.
You know, we're not from Vermont. We've never even been to Vermont.
At which all had a delightful time.
What do you mean, is there something you want me to tell you?
Immediately following the reception,
I mean, is there something you haven't been honest with me about? With yourself about?
Like what?
the bride at the tender age of 24.
Ha! She's not even 24. Not even close.
Now, you listen to me, Bradley. Whose story is this?
Ours.
Wrong. This is a fairy tale, and I'm going for prototypes.
But I'm 33.
In this story, you're 24. The average American woman gets married at 24.
How old does that make him?
27. Why? How old are you?
I'm the one that's 24.
Well, isn't that a little young to be getting married?
How come 24 is okay for me, but not for him?
Well, you're the woman. You're supposed to be younger.
Jesus.
Before I was interrupted for the umpteenth time, boys and girls, I was saying that immediately following the reception, the 24-year-old bride was whisked away by her 27-year-old Prince Charming.
To where were we whisked?
To Hawaii for your honeymoon.
This whole fairy tale is completely out of hand.
For Christ's sake, what's the big deal in giving the children a little bedtime story?
No one's life turns out like that. How many of these kids are going to end up in your version of the story? None. They can't. It's too much pressure. It's like why Catholic women are all messed up. You can't be a virgin and a mother. Brad, I probably shouldn't have married you to begin with.
Shayna, how can you say that?
You're probably gay.
What?
Oh, come on. How many straight male floral designers do you know?
Is that what you thought I need to be more honest about?
I'm sorry, but listen, if we're talking averages here, most people don't get married in Vermont. Most people get married in their one-horse hometown with bad Walmarts and even worse zoning.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing, that's what I'm saying. Most people do get married in their hometown. Most people end up cheating on their spouses or in counseling or selling everything they own to get to some shitty nursing home. Put that in your juice box and suck it.
I'm not sucking anything. There are children present.
And God forbid we tell them what life is really like.
You know she's got a point. You're opening yourself up for multiple class action lawsuits, lady.
Fine, I've had it. You want the truth? The whole truth and nothing but the truth? The whole enchilada? The proverbial hook, line, and sinker? Well, far be it from me to give these little souls something to which to aspire.
Do it.
I'm warning you, it won't be pretty.
We stand warned.
Once upon a time, there was a woman approaching middle age who spent too much time scrapbooking and drank an inappropriate amount of yellowtail before 3.
Okay.
And a young, slightly effeminate man who hooked up once with an Eagle Scout when he was 17, but since it was only hand stuff, he still considers himself straight.
This bitch got me pegged.
The woman and man met at a bar one night where they got drunk and slept together afterwards. The woman felt guilty about the one-night stand and felt the need to justify the sex with a legitimate relationship, even though she really prefers black men. To stay deep in the dark closet, the young man proposed to the woman, and since she's 33 and, let's all face it, not getting any younger, she accepted his pathetic offer because it was a real ego boost to have snagged a half-stad 11 years younger than she. Although the groom promised to plan the entire wedding with his best friend, Steve, the bride insisted that they hire a horse-drawn carriage to take them to the airport, where they caught not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 connecting flights to Las Vegas to be married. The bride and groom sleep in separate rooms and kiss on New Year's to keep up appearances. How's that for a story?
Mrs. Storyteller, could you come back, please?